KDLT News. We know what matters.
You're watching KDLT. This is KDLT News. Complete news from around the area with Ben Goyette and Carolyn Cornish. Exclusive AccuWeather forecast with Bruce Lee. And the latest sports with John Schutz.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. The Constitution of the United States directs...
You're watching KDLT. This is KDLT News. Complete news from around the area. With Carson Walker and Denise Anderson. The exclusive AccuWeather forecast with Paige Gores. And the latest sports with David Kale.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Severe weather made its way through parts of South Dakota tonight, and it looks like the worst of the storm is past.
You're watching KDLT, the station that's working for you. And now, this is News 5's 12 at 10 with Sherry Kurtz and John Raker. With weather, Mike Harvey and Mark Ovington with sports.
Next on News 5, 12 at 10, dense fog descends on the Sioux Empire, cutting visibility, delaying airplane flights, and making roadways treacherous.
The snowmobile season is at full throttle. We'll have tips on making your ride a safe one.
And women executives in a man's world. Tonight's News 5 Fortunes features two ladies who have wheeled their way to the top. This is News 5.
Good evening, I'm Sherry Kurtz.
And I'm John Rieger. Thanks for being with us tonight. A heavy fog blanketed most of the Sioux Empire today.
Fog and air travel don't...
KSFY's Dakota First News Weekend.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. 2 men are injured, a third is killed after an...
Weekend with Judica Drote, Brian Allen, Craig Pedersen, and meteorologist Aaron Lindman. KSFY's Dakota First News.
We'll never have closure because we'll never have our son and our daughters back.
A family is reliving the horror of the night their 2 teenage children died in a collision with a drunk driver.
The man convicted of taking...
KSFY's Dakota First News.
This is all that's left of a vehicle.
KSFY's Dakota First News continues with Mitch Krebs, Alex Strauss, Eric Thorstensen, and meteorologist Phil Schreck.
2,500 students will get their...
KSFY's Dakota First News Weekend with Brian Allen, Craig Pedersen, and meteorologist Aaron Lindman.
Welcome back, everyone. The 2000 presidential Dakota First News. Tyson Foods says no deal to IBP, at least temporarily. We'll have that story. Fears of spring flooding continue to grow along the Jim River Valley. We have KSFY continuing coverage. We also have the latest from Seattle as the area cleans up from a 6.8 earthquake. I'm Brian Allen. This is Dakota First News today.
Live news, unequaled local news coverage, all the latest stories. You're watching KSFY's Dakota First News today.
And good morning from Dakota First News. There were 2 aftershocks overnight in Seattle, Washington.
You're watching KDLT News with Sherry Kurtz, meteorologist Keith Monahan, and Mark Ovington with sports.
Next on KDLT News at 6, Sioux Falls Mayor Gary Hansen decides if firefighters and police officers will continue working overtime to fill in at 911 dispatch. A busy highway mixed with kids walking and riding their bikes. Some thinks it's a disaster waiting to happen. Michael Rosenfield has the details on what you could call a wild ride.
Hour.
Is all-day, everyday kindergarten working in the Sioux Falls School District? Anna Peters has a live report. This is KDLT News. Good evening, I'm Sherry Kurtz. Thanks for joining us tonight. Governor Bill...
Ahead on KDLT News, the South Dakota Highway Patrol wants you to have a safe travel weekend. And if you don't, they could fine you. And a Brookings Aviation School has something you won't find in any other flight school in America. We'll show you next on KDLT News.
Live from KDLT Television, this is KDLT News at 10.
Thanks for joining KDLT News tonight. 3 South Dakota National Guard soldiers who were struck by a
Live from KDLT Television, you're watching KDLT News with Jen Dombrowski, meteorologist Justin Bruce, and Vince Conway with sports.
Big story, Sarah Palin steps down as governor of Alaska, leaving unanswered questions about her political future.
New this morning, stocks soaring in Asia as attention turns to Wall Street with hopes of a similar rally.
And in our Veramedical Minute, while swimming lessons at a young age are important.
This is KSFY Action News this morning.
And good morning from all of us at KSFY. I'm Valerie Gutierrez. Great to be with you this morning.
I'm Sean Cable, and we have a great looking forecast here coming up for the week and some nice stuff going on here today. Let's take a look at what is happening outside this morning as we check out.
Live, this is KDLT News at 10 on NBC.
The Sioux Falls Air Show wowed crowds this weekend. We'll tell you about a local squadron that's unlike any in the world. Moving to a new apartment just got cheaper, and the South Dakota smoking ban issue smolders on as the battle is expected to soon land in court. Good evening, I'm Stacey Steinhagen. Thanks for joining us. The South Dakota smoking ban issue is heating up once again as a...
You're watching KDLT News. It's about award-winning journalism.
First in high definition, this is KSFY News at 10. Now, KSFY News at 10 in high definition.
Right now on KSFY News, we'll tell you why the city of Aberdeen is asking if its employees should be paid more money.
New clues from the Paris terror attacks have investigators tonight on the hunt for a 9th suspect.
A wet Wednesday is in our forecast.
We begin in Hartford, where the mayor is in the hot seat tonight. A group of residents say they want him out of office.
It's 10 o'clock, and good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Allen.
And I'm Courtney Collin. Hartford Mayor Bill Campbell's...
The KSFY studios in downtown Sioux Falls. This is KSFY Morning News.
Multiple suspects arrested after a string of robberies in the Sioux Falls area. Why the suspects say they had to steal the money.
Sioux Falls is welcoming new U.S. citizens to the...
From the KSFY studios in downtown Sioux Falls, this is KSFY News at 5:30.
Good evening and thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Sam Wright. Most people walk around on 2 legs, but a local Harrisburg man recently had one.
From the KSFY studios in downtown Sioux Falls, this is KSFY News at 10.
Good evening to you. I'm Courtney Collin.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Brian Allen. The Sioux Falls City Council still debating at this hour ahead of a vote to change the management.
Well, I'm proud of what we've done, and I'm proud of the goals that we've set and accomplished. I believe now is the appropriate time for me to step down.
Tonight at 6, U.S. Attorney Brendan Johnson announces his resignation.
Just 39 years old, he's done a lot of things, statewide, and just a very impressive person.
Meanwhile, those who work closely with Johnson react to his departure.
It's the 2nd annual City of Sioux Falls Job Fair, and I spoke to a couple departments about the hundreds of jobs available.
Live in high definition, you're watching KDLT News at 6 on NBC.
Good evening, I'm Tom Hansen.
And I'm Megan Millich. Thanks for joining us. One of the country's longest service.
This is KDLT News at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Tom Hansen.
And I'm Kelsey Passoltz. It was a special...
The field is dwindling as 6 Democratic presidential candidates prepare for a debate tonight. Who's in the spotlight? Not for the reasons they want to be.
The movie Joker leads with the most nominations for Hollywood's biggest night. Details on the other Oscar nominations recently announced.
And I'm Colt Molesky, live in the newsroom. I'll be telling you about some important local votes happening today.
This is Dakota News Now.
Well, good morning from all of us at Dakota News Now. I'm Eric Thorstensen.
And I'm Vanessa Gomez. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday morning where we are debuting our brand new morning show, Dakota News Now. It's good to have you with us.
Well, like I said at the top of last hour, this is my 25th year at KSFY. I've always done sports, but today does feel a little bit like day one.
And that's okay.
Yeah, it is. It's a big change in lifestyle for me. I've always been kind of a night owl, but now I got to go to bed at 8 o'clock, and I've got 4 kids in the house, so there's going to be a lot of quiet.
It'll all work out. It's going to be a big change.
This is Dakota News Now.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Allen.
And I'm Kelsey Passel. Thanks for joining us. This fall, Augustana University plans to raise its tuition and...
This is Dakota News Now.
Good evening. I'm Kelsey Passel.
Glad to have you with us tonight. I'm Brian Allen. South Dakota lawmakers head back to work officially tomorrow.
This is Dakota News Now.
Good evening. I'm Kelsey Passel.
Glad to have you with us tonight here at 10 o'clock. I'm Brian Allen. As more and more business, communication, and other aspects of company.
KSFY Action News, your weather experts.
KDLT News. We know what matters.